What's up, party nerds? This is the Gaming Central podcast. I'm one of your hosts, as always, Greg McConnell. Find me across all platforms at Ice Goose. It's right there. I'm joined, as always, by the Zelda nerd himself, Corey, the man, Stover. Find him at C_Stove. How the heck are you, Stover?
I'm good. How are you, Goosey?
I am wonderful. Today we have a very special podcast for you guys because we have a extra guest. We have the one and only Born to Stalk You on PlayStation and possibly other platforms. I didn't ask him because I'm a horrible host, but we're joined by Daiquann Brown. How the heck are you, Daiquann?
I'm doing well. Can't complain at all.
First off, just thank you so much for joining us. If you guys don't know, Daiquann is a prominent member in Gaming Central and an active participant in the Game of the Month clubs. So, Daiquann, just give us a little introduction about yourself, who you are, why you love video games, what your favorite video game character of all time is. Not to put you on the spot.
You're on the spot, boy.
So on YouTube, I'm known as the PS Xbox Gamer. What really got me into gaming was growing up. I was actually born in a household of a Super Nintendo. So more or less the first game I've ever the first game I ever played was Donkey Kong Country. Until this day, I still have that cartridge, even though it really didn't belong to me, but still have it. And that's what's really got me started into gaming. That and Mega Man X.
Classic.
Speaking of my heart here, man, Mega Man X.
Those are the two games. And as when it comes to favorite video game characters, character, I should say, it's kind of hard to choose, but I will have to say, and it's probably going to change, Dart from The Legend of Dragoon.
Oh, man.
Harpoon!
Harpoon? No, Dart is the main character.
Yes.
I just cited a Legend of Dragoon reference.
Yeah, Harpoon, whatever. Anyway, this is the Gaming Central podcast, a weekly get-together where we like to sit down and discuss video games that we break down different elements of these video games into what we ultimately think are the most important aspects. Once we're done with that, we like to end each episode with a little time in what we call the Nerd Corner. In the Nerd Corner, we break down different nerd media that we are interested in. This week, we all watched the NiNoKuni movie on Netflix, and I have some thoughts, but we'll get to that later. Moving on, I have a question for you, Daiquann. Sorry, a little segue before we get into the readers' comments and questions. Did you play The Legend of Dragoon before it was a game of the month? Game of the quarter?
Yes.
Yes. Had you beat it either time?
Yes.
Yes. Did you beat it both times?
Yes.
Okay.
I still need to go back to
That's all I was wondering. Because Corey still hasn't beat it.
Neither of you.
Oh my gosh.
No, I haven't either. I beat the first disc, and then I think I started nursing school. I got real busy. Anyway, so each episode we start with our any questions or comments.
Oh gosh.
Yes, we don't have to go back searching. So as we go, leave us a like, leave us a subscribe, and leave us comments, and we will read them because we're mindless slaves. So Corey, what we need to call this a section, you know? We need like a section of our podcast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But do you have anything off the top of your head? You're the creative one. You're the creative
name
one.
for it?
Yeah, name for it.
No.
No? Okay, well, if you guys have a name for it, leave it below. We're willing to hear.
You froze really bad whenever you first started the segment, and you were just like, with your mouth open for a long time. And then I thought we were done. I was like, oh gosh. And then all your words came out. So we apologize. Okay, well, it's the first time we're using Discord, everybody. So if it gets too bad, we might try a 3-person Netflix call, or not Netflix, Skype call next time.
Netflix Plus allows voice chat.
I subscribe.
Yeah. Okay, so
yeah, I would subscribe too. Netflix is taking over the world.
Yeah. So I have a few comments from SNES Mapper.
What's up, Mapper?
So, he says, regarding graphics, it's a tough one. Are you guys grading the games based on present-day parameters, or trying to judge the game based on when it was released? Zelda Ocarina of Time for the N64 is a 1 out of 10 graphically by today's standards, but back in the day it was a 10 out of 10. I don't think there's a right or wrong way of doing it, but you guys have to be on the same page for the scoring system to be fair across the board, lol. And I agree with that. I don't agree with that. Yeah, we weren't really going by like graphics per se. We were going by how we felt the art in The Last of Us. We can ask Daiquann about this.
I was going to say, is this in reference to The Last of Us? Our discussion because that it wasn't pretty enough in your.
I gave it like a 9 or something, a 9.5. Like, it's not because it was bad. But anyways, it wasn't like what?
Go ahead.
I was just saying it wasn't like I was like, oh, this game's ugly, and you were like, oh, this game's beautiful. It was like, I don't think a real life, like, it's supposed to be realistic, like, dull game can be a 10 because it's supposed to look bad. Don't
get me started on this again, Corey. Back to
that dilapidated building's gorgeous.
Mapper. Back to the Mapper's comment. I think that we should rate it at the time, like whatever time period it was in. I think that's how you should rate a game, because obviously a 15-year-old game isn't going to hold up graphically to games now.
Yeah,
that's my personal opinion.
And I wasn't even going off graphics. I was just going off art style.
I know. I mean, just in general, though, when you're talking about games.
But don't get too into your art rating on Last of Us, Daiquann, because we're going to ask you about that in the ratings.
Yeah, we'll get into that. Without going too deep into Last of Us, just in general, what are your thoughts?
Anything relating to graphics and art, I always say it has to go by when the time it was released. Only because, like, Final Fantasy VII is another perfect example. You know, compare that game to back in '97 when the game first came out. It was like one of the best looking games of all time back in '97. But you look at the game now, it's like, what's this? It looks like almost like the Tesla Cybertruck almost.
Yeah.
But now,
yeah, that thing's gross. That thing's gross. And I think Final Fantasy VII is a great one because we just got the remake, so you catch up each time period. And the new one is phenomenal. Oh, can you hear me? Can you still
I can hear you.
Though?
It's weird. You'll freeze, but then like I'll still get all your words coming through.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So
I'm glad we're all on the same page on this one. He had a couple, right?
Yeah. There's
what else did the map say?
He said, regarding The Last of Us trophies, as much as I love the game and Naughty Dog, I think it is one of the worst trophy lists out there. When I look at when I look at my list, I hate saying The Last of Us with 5% completion rate. It makes it look like I didn't even beat the game or barely tried. I'm not saying Naughty Dog should be handing trophies like candy, but at the very least, they should give trophies at the end of each chapter completed, like most games do. And
I would be okay with that. Yeah. I would be okay with the chapter trophy.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I chuckled a little bit, but it's I actually agree to where the trophy list is kind of unfair.
Yeah, I don't like the trophy list on that. I beat the game and got one trophy.
Opening all the ship doors?
I think it's...
that one was actually hard.
Crafting one of every item, I think that's what I did.
Wait, really?
Yeah, it's the only one.
Yeah, the ship doors, especially if you don't play on easy. You can like run out of shivs before you use them all. All right, next question, Corey.
Okay, he said, we asked him what his favorite Resident Evil game was, if you remember.
Oh, yeah.
He said, my favorite Resident Evil game is the remake of the first game. Any version works for me, GameCube, PS3, PS4. In my opinion, the atmosphere and survival horror feeling of that game are unmatched to this day. And I agree, that's a really good game, and I need to beat it, especially without the tank controls.
Yeah, if they can take the tank controls off, I'd be willing to play it.
And they did on the new one, the Origins collection.
Okay, well, yeah. I'll have to check it out.
Interesting fun fact. There's actually something that I did write down that I actually was going to put in the comments, but I completely forgot because I was at work that day when I was watching the podcast. But Resident Evil 4 actually has tank controls.
What?
Yeah, kind of does. Yeah.
It's just the camera is because the camera's behind, over the shoulder. The camera follows you, but if you literally move the analog stick in each direction without running, it's tank controls.
Wow.
The one thing they are going to fix in the remake, I guarantee it, is make it to where you can, like, you don't have to be stationary to aim and shoot. Like, you had to stop completely before you go shoot at anything.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I'm remembering correctly, right, Daiquann? You can't move and shoot at the same time.
No, you can't. They didn't add that until
Which is the one I played, and it was well received by me.
I loved 6.
It's a good game. It's a good game.
Yeah. I don't know if it's $60 good, but I do like it.
No. $20? Yes. $30 even. I'd be like, oh yeah.
I paid full price for it on PS3, unfortunately, but it's okay.
You and me both, Corey. I remember.
Oh god.
Okay, so here's SNES Mapper's question for us. He said, and the question for next episode, what are your plans for next gen? Will you be getting the new consoles on day one, or wait for price drops, PS5 or Xbox Series X?
You go first, Corey.
Tentatively, I want both of them right away. But, depending on my situation, if the PS5 comes out first, I'm going to get it. And then I'm gonna think if it's like the thing where they're like both come out within a week of each other, I'm only getting PS5. But if it's like a month, maybe
like November, December,
yeah, something like that, then I'll get both probably. What about you guys?
What about you, Daiquann?
For me, it's the PS5. I'm gonna get a day one, and not because I'm a whole PlayStation fanboy or whatever, but it's because of two reasons. The Xbox Series X, the game, there's not going to have real exclusives for it for the first 2 years. It's really, the game's going to be backwards compatible with the Xbox One, so it kind of defeats the purpose of moving to the Series X. But I also just recently got a gaming PC, so it also with the Game Pass Ultimate, games can be played on the PC. But I'm personally still going to get it. But the Series X, I'm not gonna get it as soon as it launches, but the PlayStation 5, hands down, getting it day one.
Do you have all of the systems already, Daiquann? Do you have like all generations? Okay.
Yes, I do.
What were you about to ask, Corey?
I was just saying the PS5. I guarantee. Well, even I think Square Enix said it. All the PS5 releases are going to be PS4 games too for a while. Because the PS4 install base is just too big.
Yeah,
it really is. And I'm more like Daiquann in this one. I'm going to get the PlayStation 5 at launch. I'm not going to get the Series X for the simple fact that I have an Xbox One. Shout out to C-Stow for that. But and they've got like backwards compatibility, it's almost like backwards compatibility.
What they call it, smart something
compatibility. Yeah, the smart deliver. So like like Daiquann was saying, I don't see the point of like getting an Xbox Series X right away if I'm just going to be able to play all the games on my Xbox One. So I'm like, but PlayStation 5 as well. I'm willing to guarantee that they're willing to bet that they're not going to release a strictly next generation game, and even if they do, there'll be backwards capabilities to it.
I give it at least a year before they do PS5 only, but even then, I don't think so.
It wouldn't make enough sense. Like PlayStation 4, everyone has a PlayStation 4. Like you were saying, Corey, like everyone has it. It would be stupid just to give a PlayStation 5, especially with the way the world is going right now.
The difference is though, they said that only the top 100 games, or like that's what they're going to start with, of PS4 games are going to work on PS5.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that's not some kind of architecture issue, like you know how Xbox had to basically put all the Xbox OG and 360 games on their store and then basically make the disc work that way. I hope that it's just like a fluid. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. I feel like because Xbox Series
I definitely
X
get it.
Is going to actually play Xbox One games. Like it's going to be like nothing.
Yes.
Like
And it's supposed to like enhance them to that.
Yeah.
It's supposed to like take them and enhance them somehow. I don't know. Like, take them, Super Saiyan them.
Did you guys see the PlayStation 5 like technical conference that Mark Cerny did?
I didn't, but I saw
slept
the
through half of it,
complaints.
but I watched it.
People complaining about that is so stupid, though.
Oh yeah, but more or less, it sounds like the PlayStation 5 will be able to hand PS4 games, but I guess like they're starting off with the first 100 to kind of, I would personally say, it's like a testing period to see how well it does, and then either add more games or just release the entire library. But that one's more of like a long stretch due for like other companies and licensing issues and things like that.
I definitely think that it will be able to handle any game that you want to play on the PS5. Like God of War, you'll be able to play. Call of Duty, you'll be able to play. Horizon Zero Dawn, you'll be able to play. Like the games you want to be able to play, you'll be able to play. It's going to be the weird, like, limited run games or the PS4 ports, you know? It's those types of games you don't want to play on the PlayStation 5 anyway. I firmly believe the games you want to play on the PS5 that are PS4 games, you'll be able to.
Xbox Series X will have better backwards compatibility then. I bet everything works on that one, because
I bet you could put like an Xbox 360 in there. Yeah.
Well, I was talking about Xbox One games, but yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I can completely see Xbox.
You froze up.
They are. Anyway. You broke. I saw your lips moving, Corey, but I couldn't hear you.
Oh, I said you froze up really bad right there.
Well, you froze up, actually, so I look perfect on my screen, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, my screen's what's going on to YouTube, so...
Well, I don't care about your screen. What's the next question?
That is all of them. Thank you for your comments.
That's it?
We'll be sure to read everyone's comments on the next one. Leave comments on both channels, and I'll read from both. I forgot to upload episode 4 to my personal channel, so I have no comments there.
You let us down.
I know. I apologize, everyone, for Greg's frequent freezing. Greg, you're still frozen.
Where are you?
You're really,
I'm frozen?
Yeah,
Was I frozen?
You're really frozen.
Oh, man. Discord. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we're gonna go back to Skype next time. Just let everyone know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Corey, can you give me like a... I can't hear you. All right, back to our regular scheduled programming. Sorry about that, guys. We had a little bit of technical difficulties on our end, and so we switched our streaming service, and so hopefully it works now. Picking up where we left off is a section we like to call "What You Playing?" So, on that note, I'll start with Corey, because he is the oldest in this group. Corey, what you playing?
So, you guys can also see Daiquann's beautiful face now, so...
Oh, hello. Oh, is he right here?
No,
or is he right
he's
here?
right there, yep.
Right
he's
here?
right next to you,
What's up?
sharing a box with you.
Am I good here? No, it's the other way. I don't know.
Yeah, you're
I
right,
don't know.
Daikwan.
Yeah.
I was right?
This way? Okay.
Yeah, you got it.
Hey.
What's up, man?
What's going on?
Sorry, that was really funny looking.
All right, Corey, what you playing, man?
Okay, well, I have been playing our Dude Play Some More. Oh my gosh. And, I'm on a boss in that freaking world we're in, and he sucks, and I can't beat him.
What's the... is it Cloud?
Yes.
Cloud? Oh, man. You want to know how I beat him? I beat him by, like... It's very Legend of Dragoon-y. We were just talking about it. You have to hit A at the right time, and you'll do a double hits and all that.
Yeah, it's his stupid Omni Slash that just wrecks me every time.
You got to block it. You can block it.
And I block it here and there, but it's like, why?
Yeah. So you got to combo your moves. You can hit XX and like do two of them at the same time. So you got to figure out how to combine that. Excuse me.
You just burped right on
Daikwan.
Sorry, I forgot you're over there.
But
Anyway, that's how I got this.
Also, I just finally beat Kamoshida today in Persona 5 Royal. He was kind of difficult at first till I figured out what to do. So I
Is
think
that the first dungeon?
The first palace, yeah.
Palace.
And I'm like
Forgive me.
almost 13 hours in.
Thanks, man. So you've made an hour since last week.
Yeah. Yeah. And I got my sister to play Until Dawn, and so we were playing through that yesterday. It was pretty cool. Yeah. So anyways, Greg, what you playing?
What am I playing? All right, so I have a long list. I'm also playing our Dude Play. I am further than you. I just beat the world that's past the world you're in.
Okay.
So I'm a little further than you, and the game's getting really, really good. So buckle down, buckaroo.
I love the gameplay style of the world I'm in right now, by the way, with the block clearing and
it's very 8-bit, like old school JRPG. Right?
Yeah, it's cool.
Fantastic. Now, I'm also playing Breath of the Wild some more. I am doing a bunch of little side quests, and I found not a. If you guys have ever played it, if you've never played it, you can kind of explore the whole world, right? I got to the top of this snow mountain, and there's like this big like dragon lizard thing that's not a what are they? Ancient beast? Is it ancient beast?
Something like that.
Yeah, whatever the ancient beast. It's not one of those, but it's like a big
divine beast, right?
Divine beast, yeah. So I didn't have to. So I had to run away from that. And anyway, it's really cool. I just got a camera feature, and I'm like taking pictures. I'm still early on in it, but I'm having a lot of fun. Now, I won a PlayStation card from a Twitter raffle from one of our friends in Gaming Central. So shout out Christian. I think his Twitter account is Decipher now. So check him out. He does giveaways. I won it because, duh. Anyway, so me and my wife beat Foxyland. Got the platinum for that. We beat crap. What were the other games we beat?
My Name is Mayo.
My Name is Mayo. We did My Name is Mayo, and I really enjoyed that game.
Yeah, it's a fun game.
It's like I didn't think I would actually enjoy it because you're just clicking it, but it like adds little story elements to it. And I was like, oh, he's wearing a bikini now.
What about the one where you just have to keep pushing the same button for like a really long time?
Yeah, like you have to click it 10,000 times, and we were done with all the side stuff at 5,000. So we had to click it 5,000 times. It was annoying. So we beat Foxyland. We beat that. We beat a game called Peasant Night. We got the platinum on that. And it's like a side-scrolling just jump kind of thing, and you can play it as up to 4 people on this game. Or one person, so it's really fun. You guys should check it out. It's like $1.80 on PlayStation Store right now. And so I'm also playing. We just started 36 Shades of Midnight or something like that.
Fragments of Midnight.
Fragments of Midnight. You know. So it's basically all these games by what's the company that makes all these games?
Radicala Games, something like that.
Yeah, Radaliki Games. I think it's Radaliki Games.
Did you just go through and get all the easy platinum games?
Radaliki is known for making these super cheap, easy platinum games. And so I went on PlayStation Store, and you can search them, and they've got a ton of games for $2, $3, $4, or whatever. And I just bought the cheapest ones, and we started playing them, and they're actually pretty fun. Like, Foxyland's a fun game, and there's a Foxyland 2 that I'm excited to try. But anyways, so I have like 30 platinum trophies now. Catching up with Corey at 32.
Thanks for telling me about this company so I can pad myself a little bit more.
Yeah, Radaliki, there you go. And speaking of platinum trophies, our guest Daiquann today has like 1,000 of them, so I know I'm mere peasant. So on that note, Daiquann, what you playing?
What I'm playing is currently I actually just not restarted, but just started going back to Persona 5 Royal. Actually,
have you beat Persona 5 and you're playing Royal, or this is your first time into Persona 5?
So I beat the original Persona 5 when the game first came out. I was going to do a second playthrough, but I never got around to doing it. So when Royal was coming, I was like, hey, this is time for me to get back into the second playthrough. And then the best part about it was Persona 5 ended up being the long-ass game quarter.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, we are part of a Facebook group, Gaming Central. Please join. And then we are also a part of a group called Game Club. It's basically book clubs for video games. We vote every month on video games, and every 4 months on a long video game. So join it every 3 months. Sorry. I'm bad at math. Okay. Anyway, join it. Links below in the description. Hit us up. Sorry to interrupt, Daiquann. Go ahead.
But before I went back to Persona, I was playing Final Fantasy VII Remake, which I just finished.
How great is it?
I loved it.
I can't wait. I can't wait to get it.
I loved it. Great game.
Did you get the platinum on that?
Oh no, not yet.
You have to beat it twice. I want to say on hard. So
one regular and then one hard mode. I'm actually the way how I feel about that game. I'm not gonna do that second playthrough until like a couple of months from now because I have a whole backlog I have to finish. And then I was also playing Resident Evil 3 Remake, which I have platinum that game.
Holla, platinum trophy!
That was actually my 100th platinum. That's the game that.
And you're already at 107.
Yeah.
Holy crap!
You get platinums way faster than I do. Do you do a lot of like cheap little leaky platinum type things, or do you like legit games?
Both. So the reason why I ended up going over 100 platinums is because there was a little thing of the Little Big Planet 2. Yeah. So I'm basically not going into too much detail about it. More or less is that if you injected someone's save file into yours and they had all the trophies, all your trophies will pop up as well. So when Corey posted that, for that one trophy, yes. So when Corey brought it to my attention, you have 99. I'm like, okay, now I have to go over 100 to make sure I have 100. But I ended up playing. So, the platinum I actually just got was Gravity Rush for the Vita.
I hear that game is really fun. That's the one where you like can defy gravity, right? Like jump up and down and stuff like that.
Yeah. So it was Gravity Rush and it was Miku Hatsune Project Diva F, like that little rhythm game.
Oh yeah.
So I got that, but mainly I've just been getting back into Persona 5 Royal, but
it's so good.
Games. Yes, it is.
How far are you into Royal?
Without getting into too much details, I just started the third palace.
Okay, so you're way further than Corey. Corey will get there about August. So
at this rate.
Well, I mean, almost 13 hours and I finished the first palace. It's a big game.
Most people take like 100. What did it take you to beat it the first time, Daiquann?
So, my first playthrough for Persona 5, I decided to play on Merciless, which wasn't fun.
Do you have to do that to get the platinum or something?
No. I just did it just because I just wanted to suffer.
Because YOLO, am I right? Yeah.
And that run took me about 140 hours.
Yeah. That's about what I'm seeing. I'm seeing like 120 to 150, roughly.
Yeah.
Is it worth it, though? Is it worth it?
On Merciless or just the game in general?
Oh, just in general.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay, so that's our favorite segment called What You Playing? Moving on. We like to talk about our game of the month. Like I said, our game clubs on Facebook, please join it. Link is below. We give a spoiler-free review. I repeat, spoiler-free review of whatever game we play that month. And we rate those games on 5 different aspects. And that will give us our overall aspect, our overall rating of the game. That way we can't just give out arbitrary, like an 8. We don't like that. So, the first of them, Corey and I have given you guys our breakdowns of the games. We wanted Daiquann to come on, just another voice, just to show Corey how wrong he is on one of the best games ever made. Speaking of which, The Last of Us. Daiquann, you're currently playing it, kind of, on the super hard difficulty, right? Tell me about it.
So right now, I actually did forget to mention The Last of Us on the games I'm playing, but I am currently playing the game on grounded mode. More or less, the best way to describe grounded mode is imagine playing The Last of Us with no HUD. You can't use listening mode, and enemies can kill you in 1 to 2 hits.
This is the mode that unlocks after you've beaten the game, correct?
Yes.
It's the hard plus, basically.
Yeah. And it's not fun, but the only reason why I'm doing it is because I already have the plat, but I'm just trying to get the full 100%. And Grounded and Grounded Plus are the two trophies that's kind of stopping me from having the plat. I mean, not the plat, but the 100%.
Are you playing on PlayStation 4?
Yes.
Do you have the platinum on both systems or just the PlayStation 4?
Just the PlayStation 4.
Okay. So you must like this game if you got the platinum and you're playing through it even more, right?
Yeah.
What are some overall like positives, frustrations, and thoughts on the game? Not necessarily on Grounded, but just like your thoughts on the game in general.
So absolute positives with the game. The gameplay, I will say, is absolutely amazing. The only thing is the button controls. I'm probably wording it wrong, but the button catch my word on it. The
quick time stuff.
Not the quick times, but the way how each button functions.
Like the button mapping?
Yeah, exactly. The button mapping. That's what I put it. Thank you, Greg. Yeah, exactly. But for like example, things like L to run, things like that. So like if I go and play like just like a random game, like I'm playing Persona or something. Granted, I'm so used to like press down the thumbstick to run, and I go to play the last one. It's like wait, why I'm pressing the thumbstick and I'm not running? I'm like wait, it's L1. So like certain things is like it's kind of a little bit. It took me a little bit of an adjustment to get back to used to the controls.
It's definitely PlayStation 3 generation controls.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because on the PS3, I remember, I think it was was it still the trigger, or was it the bumper still? PS3. I think it was still L1.
Yeah, I think they kept it since it was a PlayStation 3 game originally. I think they just kind of kept the mapping the same.
Yeah, a lot of the shooters on PS3 used the L1 R1. Yeah.
Yeah. Instead of realizing that the L3 is really how you need to run. And PlayStation 4 and Xbox One nailed that.
Yeah.
So when it came to control, that's the only real gripe that I really had for it currently. But there are certain parts in the game that do frustrate me until you guys beating the game. I've seen the reviews. I don't know. Basically, the best way to. Correct?
You're saying something, Corey?
Oh,
no. Rude.
I didn't say a word. I didn't even move.
So the best way I could say is there's one part when you're in the sewers. Towards the very end when you're about to leave the sewers.
Yes, when you're getting rushed.
Yes, when you're with Joel and when you're
Ellie?
Sam.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, when you're with Joel and Sam and you have to basically get out of the sewers, but you're surrounded with clickers and runners.
This is right when... Are you talking about the part where it's like you meet up, but then you get separated again?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that part was hard.
That place.
But you just got a new shotgun, I think, so that helps.
Yeah. That part, not even on a harder difficulty. That part was just annoying. But on the harder difficulties, it does get a lot worse because all it takes for you to take a couple steps and all the clickers just come surrounding you.
Oh man.
But besides that, my favorite part of the game, I will have to say, is when you play as Ellie.
Oh, that's so good, isn't it? The hunting aspect in itself, I enjoyed. I was like,
I hated killing the bunny though.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to kill the bunny to eat, Corey.
I was like, this.
No, you can eat people, obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously. Now, Daiquann, most important question about this game. Are you a brick or a gun kind of guy?
I'm a brick.
Or gun kind of guy.
Corey, are you a brick or gun kind of guy?
Brick or gun?
Like when you're like hanging out with people, like trying to kill people, are you a brick or gun kind of guy?
Brick or gun kind of guy.
I snuck as much as possible, if that's what you mean. Because you can't kill them with a brick.
But I used bricks throughout the whole game, like because there's really like two different aspects to it. You can be kind of sneaky and use bricks to lure people and to stun them, or you can just use a gun to kill them.
You know what I did that I forgot to mention is I kept the same brick with me through the whole game, and I was like, you know how on that Ed, Ed and Eddie, how he had Plank? Is that his name?
Yeah.
I basically had a brick Plank. I was like, this is my
You never used your brick?
Oh, this is my pet brick.
Oh man, Did you use bricks or bottles more?
Well, what I
guess
would do
Corey
is
used brick.
I'd drop my brick, pick up a bottle, throw it, and then pick my brick back up.
That's ridiculous.
I did it though. I did it.
No, I hated the bottles. I thought they were too loud and noisy.
I did that in Half-Life
kinda
2 as well. I kept the same like little piece of junk with me through the whole thing, because you can just carry something with you. So I just would carry it through the whole game.
That's stupid, Corey. I hate you. I hate you for doing
that. It's just I don't know why I do that in some games, but
I will say the Molotov is the best weapon on that game. Other than the bow is amazing. But
I love
Molotov was my favorite.
the can of nails. That thing is nice.
The nail bomb.
The nail bomb was great. It was super powerful. But what I loved about the Molotov is that you could get. I would throw a brick, and I'd get a bunch of clickers or whatever it was, whatever enemy kind of gathered, and you could throw the Molotov, and it would get them all, and the fire would stay. So when more people came to run in, it would get them too.
What I like doing is I'd do Joel's little listen thing, and I'd see them walking around, through the wall, and I'd lob one of those nail bombs in the window, and then just keep watching their little things with my listen, and you just see them go boom, like fly in every direction. It was like the greatest thing ever.
So, would you recommend this game, Daiquann?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's actually an injustice if someone owns a PlayStation 4 and has yet to play this game.
Or PlayStation 3, honestly.
Or PS3.
Yeah.
Alright, Daiquann.
Go ahead.
I'm just going to say I have a calculator pulled up to get his official rating for Last of Us.
Gosh, dang, Corey, get out of my head. Get out of my head.
But you give him the
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, the rundown. So, I alluded to earlier a couple times, guys, if you've never listened to our reviews before, we rate these games in 5 categories. We rate it in story, combat, music, art style, and the goal. The goal being whatever the game is going out to try and achieve is what we try to rate it on. For example, Call of Duty tries to be a first-person action shooter game. How well does that Call of Duty game achieve that goal? So, we rate these from 0 to 10, average them out, and that gets you the total score. That's your total rating. So, Daiquann. Oh, we like to call these ratings not just arbitrary numbers. We call them, what do we call them, Corey?
Deku nuts.
Yeah! That's what I'm talking about.
Does your game have nuts?
Daiquann.
We'll see.
Yes.
So, Daiquann. Art style, 0 to 10. How many Deku nuts does Daiquann, I'm gonna stalk you, give Last of Us?
When it comes to art style, drum roll, please.
I'm gonna stop.
9. Coward. Now, why is it a 9 instead of a 10? Go ahead and try and explain this to me like Corey failed to do.
I mean, 2 on 1. You're obviously wrong now, Greg.
Oh, okay. That's how that works. Majority rules.
The reason why I say a 9 when it comes to the art style, only because granted, yes, it is a PS4 game. At the time, the game does look beautiful, but there are some technical things that is still wrong with the game, even with the PS4 version. It's nothing drastic, but it's not perfect. For example, I actually think I still have this picture. I might have to find it. But there was a picture where you're in, I think it was chapter 3, when you leave the Capitol building.
Okay.
And you're in like the train station, but it's filled with water.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a scene, not a scene, but a part when you go through the train and you meet Ellie on the other side. So I came out through the other side. Ellie's glitching through the wall. To the other side, Ellie. She's like through the wall.
I mean, it's not without glitches. I would. I'll give you that.
But that's the only thing is like there are some technical difficulties with the game, and the game would crash on me because of them from time to time. But that was really it.
And 9's still high, Greg. It's okay.
Whatever. It's low for this game.
We're not
Daiquann. Moving on to the music. What do you give the music of Last of Us on a 0 to 10? How many Deku nuts?
A perfect 10.
Perfect 10. Thank you.
Perfect 10.
Thank you. Explain to Corey why he's wrong, and you and I are right.
The music for Last of Us was just so engaging.
Mm-hmm.
The music always fit whatever that you were doing at that point in time. Like in the very beginning of the game, when Joel lost Sarah, besides the emotions that Joel was showing, the music went with it, and I'm like, oh, come on, you're hurting my feels. And then the combat, the music for the combat was absolutely amazing. The music was a perfect 10 out of 10. It was just so engaged. It went with the game. Absolutely 10 out of 10.
It was perfect.
It was good.
Perfect.
You don't have to be able to bang it out in your car on your way to work or to the store for it to be perfect. I love it. Thank you. Thank you for proving my point. Now, Daiquann, the goal of the game, did not Last of Us achieve the goal it set out to achieve, in your opinion? 0 out of 10.
I would give it a 10.
10! Yes!
I'll give it a 10.
I think Corey had a 10 on this one as well.
Of course.
Explain a little bit.
So the reason why I give it a 10 when it comes to the goal, because the goal that the game was trying to achieve, not necessarily with the story aspect, but more of the journey that you took.
Yes.
More or less everything that you went through was engaging, it was bonding, it had emotions. It just ran you wild, and then you also end up developing a relationship with the characters as well. Then when you take it to a gameplay aspect of it being a survival horror with stealth elements, it nailed it. It was right out of the ballpark when it came to the stealth elements.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely agree. Now, what I love about this game is that people would describe it as a survival horror, and it is, but I don't play many survival horror games, and this game didn't feel like a survival horror game to me. Even though there was parts where I was scared and I was nervous, but it seemed more like a narrative adventure that had survival aspects to me. And I thought that was just amazing.
I could agree with that.
Yeah. All right. Now with the combat system, 0 out of 10 Daiquann. How many Deku nuts does it get?
When it comes to the button layout, I'm going to give it an 8.
Oh.
Now with the combat system. Killing your average here. All right, talk to me. Is it just because of the button layout and it was just a little difficult to control at times?
When it came to that, yes, I would say. But when it came to actual gunplay, the gunplay was fine. I didn't have any issues with it. The bottle and the brick aspect of the game was fine to me. But I just felt when it came to fluidity of how the button controls were, that would be the only thing. That's the only reason why I'm giving it an 8, because it took a while for me to readjust myself back to the game.
I feel you. I can't argue with that. Nope. Now, for the final category, spoiler free as much as you can, what would you give the story of Last of Us 0 out of 10 Deku nuts?
Perfect 10.
Perfect 10, my man. All right. Expound on that a little bit. Without spoiling anything for people who, for some reason, haven't played this game, let us know.
When it came to the story, it was so engaging. Best way I could explain it is that my wife, she's not a gamer. She's a very casual person that's just getting into games. She didn't start really getting into gaming until I came around. But when my wife could see me play something and sit down and watch me, that's how I know the story is actually really entertaining. Mm-hmm. And my wife is like, oh my gosh, like, why did this person happen? Why did this happen? What happened to this person? When it's not only engaging for me, but it's bringing someone that's really close to me into it, I know that the story is absolutely amazing.
When it involves a normie getting interested, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right, Corey, do you have his overall average?
I do. Daiquann gives this game a 9.4.
9.4? I think that's higher than Corey.
Yeah, I think I had a 9.3.
Oh! Suck it, Corey. Suck it, Corey. All right. So, kind of, another little aspect we like to rate 0 out of 10 just for funsies is the trophy system. And you being a trophy hunter, as Corey and I, more experienced than Corey and I, really, honestly, more achievements. What would you give it, 0 out of 10, and why?
For trophy difficulty, I can easily say it's a 7.
A 7? Wow. Okay, so, sorry. Not out of difficulty per se, but like out of how well. How good the trophy system is. Not difficulty, really.
Oh, okay.
The lower the number is actually the worse. Or, yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
I could say, if we're going by that, then I could easily say about a 4.
4? Okay.
The reason why I say 4 is because for people that are getting into trophies and in more or less they're trying to start trophy hunting, the list could basically draw people away when you see there's multiplayer trophies and you have to play the game 2 times on each difficulty, and that's just for the base game itself. That's not even including the DLC. I could see it being a deterrent for a lot of people.
I completely agree.
Yep.
Now, did you play the DLC?
I did.
Did you play Left Behind? You want to talk about it? You want to talk about it?
Left Behind.
Spoiler free.
Spoiler free, yeah, because it's pretty. Did you play it recently, or did you play it the first time?
I've actually played it multiple times, but I haven't played it recently.
Okay, we don't have to discuss it because I know we weren't planning on discussing it. If you don't feel comfortable, like if you don't feel like you have to grasp.
Do you think it should have been? Do you think it's a must play? Like, if you're playing Last of Us, you got to play Left Behind as well. It's like, is that
yes.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because without getting into spoilers, there is a certain item that you pick up that triggers a special conversation that kind of throws back memories to the event. But you're sitting scratching your head like, okay, what is she talking about? But when you play, it's like, oh, it makes sense. I've played it multiple times, but I haven't played it.
But I don't think it's necessary, but it would behoove you to play Left Behind, in my opinion, because it gives you just an insight into Ellie. Like,
yes.
Yeah. Do you, Corey and I had a discussion last week about this. We had disagreeing views. The story of Left Behind takes place kind of in the story of The Last of Us, you know, so there's when you make the transition from Joel to Ellie as a playable character is kind of when the Left Behind DLC kind of takes place. Do you believe that they should have added the game into the original story, or do you think they should have left it as is as a DLC?
That's kind of a hard one. I personally would say, and to be honest, I feel like I also might flip-flop on the decision, but I personally feel at the moment in time, the way how I'm thinking about it, I'm okay with it being a DLC rather than being a part of the actual game itself.
And why is that?
The reason why I say is because the story that Left Behind offered, or that explained, you can tell it was meant to be separate from the game, but also meant to kind of tie a lot of knots and loose holes in it. So if you were to basically throw it in there, I felt like it would probably be too much given at one point in time. I'm probably explaining it a little bit wrong, but but that's how I personally feel. It's just, I personally feel it should have been, it's fine the way it is as a separate DLC as compared to being part of the game, because Left Behind had its own story to tell in a sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay. All right, Corey, do you have any more questions for Daiquann about Last of Us?
Nope.
On Last of Us?
Avoid the multiplayer at all cost.
If you got platinum. You know, if you got to get the platinum. Sure. I agree on the platinum trophies. If you make me do multiplayer, I'm upset. If you make me play through the game 2 times, I'm upset.
Yeah.
To get a platinum. It better be a good freaking game. And not that The Last of Us isn't a good game. All right, Corey. If you want to kind of handle the Spec Ops interview.
Okay. Let me get my new picture up here. All right, Daiquann, did you play Spec Ops: The Line?
I did.
Did you beat it?
Of course. On suicide.
Wow. Nice. Okay, so first, overall thoughts on the game. Like, dislike, recommend, don't recommend, slide it under the bed and forget you have it. What is it?
I actually recommend the game. The very first time, it's actually the second time I played it. Second time I played it fully. And the first time I played it, I thought it was for a third-person shooter for its time. It was absolutely amazing to me. I personally felt like the controls were great. Game was great. I liked the story. But I will say that the controls, after a while, after playing it again, it felt weird.
Yeah, you can tell they're a little dated.
Yeah, the controls did feel a little dated after I was playing it a second time. I'm like, huh. It also felt a little clunky, but at the same time, though, you also gotta remember we're also so used to like the DualShock 4 and Xbox One controller, and kind of going back to last gen. For me personally, because I haven't really touched my PS3 until Spec Ops.
Yeah.
That's a shame, and you should be ashamed.
Yeah, you definitely should.
Because the PlayStation is, I don't care, the best console out there.
In my defense, it's my wife's PS3. Mine is actually still in the city. She has a 12 gig hard drive, so it's like there's the games that I want to play are all digital, and they physically can't fit on the hard drive.
Oh, it sucks. I took my hard drive out of my PS4 and stuck it in my PS3. So,
I didn't even know you can do that.
Take it. Corey likes to put his hard drive in multiple ports.
So my PS3 is currently a 500 gig. Pretty nice. That's a lot of room for a PS3 too.
That is. I learned something new. I didn't know I could do that.
Yep. And then I put a 2 terabyte in my PS4.
But need power.
I haven't ran out of room yet, which is like Lorena's always having to delete stuff off our other PS4. But
PS4 Pro, right?
Yeah.
2 terabyte.
Yeah. So we're gonna get into ratings now. Do I have our? Yeah, I do. Okay. So Daiquann, what do you give the story for Spec Ops: The Line?
The story, I will have to say that I give the story a 9.
A 9? Okay.
A 9. The reasoning why I give it a 9 is because the way how you saw the development of the squad, without getting into detail, and then the decisions that you would make altered the story. I felt that it was actually really cool.
Yeah.
Because a lot of games don't do that with the dynamic choices.
Mm-hmm.
What I also liked about the story is, I love when movies or games or whatever, they do this thing where like they show you something, and then later on they make you realize what you were seeing isn't actually what was going on, and like you see it differently. Like if you replayed it, you'd see what is actually going on in these situations, and you might like pick up on it a little bit. Like, oh, I see that now. That makes sense.
Yeah.
It has Sixth Sense cliche.
Yeah.
That's the reason why.
Also, Book of Eli. Book of Eli's great.
Shout out to Gary Whittaker.
From the show, I believe. So 9. That's him.
All right. What about the combat, Daiquann?
The combat, I'm going to give it an 8. The reasoning why I'm giving it an 8 is only I never really used all the weapons. The combat actually could be higher for me if I used all the weapons. But because I played on Suicide, there's certain weapons like shotguns you really can't use. Especially when enemies can take you down in a couple shots.
Yeah.
But for every other weapon that I used, I personally didn't have a problem with them. But I do feel that there were some parts where the enemy AI did have some cheap shots.
Yeah.
Well,
that definitely is a thing.
Suicide, you have to beat the game to unlock. Another example of it. I played on Fubar though because I was originally going to get the platinum trophy, and I'm the only trophy I need left is defeat the game on Suicide. Did you think on Suicide that it was a really difficult game?
If I'm gonna rate it at a difficulty, I can easily say it's about a 6 on Suicide.
Whoa! What a hard ass.
I need to get good.
I know, easy and normal. Or I played on normal. Normal was kind of hard at times.
Did you get that? Did you die enough to get it? Like, hey, maybe you should lower the difficulty.
Definitely.
Did you?
I did. Oh no, I did.
13 was extremely difficult for me. Like when you're pinned up against the helicopter. Oh my gosh.
Okay, I want to interrupt our regular scheduled programming to let you guys know that I figured out why I had an echo.
Oh.
No, I didn't. It's still echoing. Let's go. What do you give the music for Spec Ops: The Line?
Now I hear the echo. The music, I would have to say, I would give it an 8. Give it an 8.
It gets kind of crazy sometimes freaking guitar riffs and stuff.
When it came to the combat sections of the music, it was, you could tell, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm like in war. Well, not in war, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was very action packed. You felt it. You felt the adrenaline rushing when you played the music in the combat sections. But when it's the lonely music when you're just traveling around with your squad and nothing's really going on, it's either no music at all or nothing really happening, nothing engaging.
Yeah.
Right. But I appreciated the fact that this game, I appreciate all games that do this. When you get into the combat, it's like, and it, like, you know it's in combat, and then when it's done, it's like, and the people are like, well, that's all of them. Like, somehow they're... I feel well.
It's funny because we'll be like all the way on the far corner, like, oh, that was the last one. It's like, how do you know that?
Yeah.
But though, I'm a big fan of that because I'm like, okay, good, now I can go.
Yeah.
I don't have to be like.
It also sucks whenever like they haven't done that yet, but you don't see anyone, and you're just like sneaking around, and you're like, there's no one here.
Where's this last guy? Yeah, I hate that.
So, what do you give the goal, Daiquann?
The goal of the game. For what the game tried to accomplish, I will say an 8.5.
8.5? Okay.
8.5.
It's fair.
I think really highly of this game, to me personally, when it came to certain things.
It kind of impressed me more than I thought it was going to.
It was definitely, it took a lot of turns that it was wanting you to like not really see until it happened. And I appreciate that.
Yeah. Okay, so another controversial one. Greg's gonna yell at us. The art. What do you give art?
The double voice. So, guys, if you're listening to this and you hear Corey's double voice, just know he has a speech impediment. So.
Or a twin.
That likes to repeat everything.
I don't think it's coming through, but if it is, I'm sorry, everybody.
When it comes to the art, I will say the art is actually kind of a hard one in my opinion because I feel like for what it was at the time, it looked pretty good. Play it now is like I would say it's about an 8. About an 8.
8. All right. Let's see what you gave this game an 8.3.
8.3. I think that's about where we had it.
Yeah. And what about the trophies? What do you give the trophy list?
Food bar difficulty alone.
Do you have?
Huh?
Do you have the platinum, Daiquann?
I do not. You actually have more trophies than me in Spec Ops.
All right, let's do it.
When it comes to the list, if someone wants to pick up and try to get the platinum, I can't remember if there's multiplayer trophies in it at all. I'm not sure. This is all story mode. Then I would say probably a 6 or a 7.
Yeah,
it's good.
Any game, like we were saying, any game that makes you play through twice, I automatically dislike. But there's chapter select, so that really helps on some of the story-based trophies. So other than playing through twice, I'm fine with the trophy list personally. Other than the game's super hard. But apparently we discussed that I suck.
Best trophy killed the Oryx.
That like hurt my soul. I hate killing animals that I don't have to kill.
He looked at me funny.
Yeah.
He did look at it. Did you do it at the very beginning of the game or like halfway through when you see the second one?
The second one. Because I didn't even know that was an Oryx until later on.
Oh, God.
All right.
Or didn't. I don't think.
I haven't done it yet, no. I might go back and do it.
Any last thoughts, Corey, Daiquann, on Spec Ops before we close the book on this game forever?
Nope. I recommend it. It's a surprising game. That's it.
It's a good game. I recommend it. And the game's not expensive at all. So if you have a couple dollars to spend to give it a try, do it.
Dollar spend.
Yep. All right, guys. I think it's time for the next section here.
Now, Daiquann, usually I have Corey do this, but can you give us a transition noise?
A transition noise.
Perfect. I love it. I love it. With that transition noise, that you know what that means. It means we're in the Nerd Corner. The Nerd Corner is where we like to break down nerdy media that we take in that week, and we take turns choosing the Nerd Corner. Corey's had the honor and the privilege of choosing this week. So, Corey, just break down what you chose and why.
Well, we just finished playing through NiNoKuni 2 for our first dude play, so I figured let's just jump right into the movie, a Netflix original called NiNoKuni, all one word, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, that is weird.
Yeah. So this movie didn't have a lot of tie-ins with the game, but it had some.
Definitely, if you've played either one or two or both, like we have, like there's definitely aspects where you're like, oh, that's from the game. Okay. And I'll get into that in my notes.
Yeah.
But Daiquann, you watched the movie too, right?
Yes, it did.
Okay, perfect. So did you, Corey? Did you take notes?
Yes, I did. I'm just gonna give a little what the movie was about, like the.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Two average teens go on a magical quest to save the life of their friend and her counterpart from another world, but love complicates their journey, and it definitely did.
It definitely did. Before we dive deep into this, I just want to give this little disclaimer. I try and do it every week. Our game reviews and our games discussions are completely spoiler-free. We do our best not to ruin any aspect of it, but the Nerd Corner holds no such restrictions.
Yes!
It is definitely a full spoiler aspect involved, because how else are you going to break down a movie, break down an episode of an anime or a comic book issue without discussing the plot points? So, spoiler flag is raised to the highest degree. See, Daquan's waving the spoiler flag. Now, diving right in, Corey, give us some of your notes, and we will discuss as we go.
All right, first note here. He definitely should have used the backboard on that layup.
Yeah, they're playing basketball, and I was like, is this going to be a basketball movie?
Who splits the defense and does a swish layup? I mean, backboard.
Ballers, that's who.
Yeah.
Try to do a backwards windmill dunk from the free throw line.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I mean, hey, why not?
And then Daquan's about to get on me for this note. Whenever it shows his phone and it's cracked, I said, cracked phone. Must be an iPhone. I like the detail, though.
It hurt my soul, because I'm not gonna lie, that's the first thing that came to my mind when you saw the calling interface. I was like, that's disrespectful.
But I like the detail of having a cracked phone. I haven't seen a cartoon do that.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Do you want me to just go through all these, or?
No, let's just, you say a few, I'll say a few, because Daiquann, you didn't take notes, right?
I didn't.
No, but chime in as we go through our notes.
And I have two trivia questions for later, too.
Oh, I have one trivia question.
All right, go ahead and give some notes there, Gregory.
My first note was, it started off with this old guy on the roof, and I was like, hey, Gateway! He's like, I gotta cast Gateway. And if you played the first game, Gateway is the first spell you learn to get to the I guess the NiNoKuni world. So I thought that was cool. And so the next note doesn't take place for a little bit, but when they first get transported to the world, like the guy in the wheelchair, his name's Yu, he like just stands up and starts walking, and I said, that wouldn't happen. Walking would not be natural to him. He wouldn't just stand up and start walking.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead, Corey.
I'm glad he said hypothesis and not theory.
Yes,
a couple times.
Thank you. Yes, it was great.
One thing.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
One thing I do want to chime in, because I did see the movie with my wife, because she played the first game, and right when it starts and you see the old man, I'm like, it looks familiar. I don't know. And my wife is like, I know who he is, and I'm like, stay quiet.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that later.
Yeah.
Wait, is he who I think he is?
Just wait, Corey. Wait.
I didn't notice. Okay, hang on. Anyways,
we'll just talk about it. We'll just talk about it right now since we're here. At the very, that old man is Oliver from the first game.
Yes.
At the very end of the game, he never comes out and says it, but he like pops up near the end of the game, the end of the movie, and he's wearing Oliver's original outfit. And he's like, I've been looking for somebody.
And he gave him the Morningstar or whatever it's called.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. I definitely thought Daiquann at the beginning, I was like, man, is this little old guy gonna be Oliver? But then he's like not in the movie until the end, and I was like, oh.
I was thinking, I'm like, it looks familiar, and then my wife is like all cheering, like, I know who he is, and I'm like,
I didn't put two to two together.
Yeah, he's definitely wearing Oliver's outfit. So
yeah, the cake.
Oh my gosh. I said I low key felt bad that the guy ate the mosquito.
Oh yeah, I was like, this is gross.
Because that mosquito was like drinking his blood. He's like, oh, and he's like, oh, or whatever, when he gets flicked away.
Yeah. I was like, oh, that's gross.
Yeah.
I just thought it was gross.
He was like, I am a drunkard, but.
So do you have any more notes up to this point of the movie, Greg? I have more. I just don't want to go too far in.
My next notes are past that, so keep going.
Okay. I said that you and Haru, right?
Haru.
Yeah, Haru. Their swords just happen to match them in the ring, like when they threw them swords. It's like, how do your swords just happen to match your outfits?
All right, I'll chime in here. They say, who are we in this game? Townspeople A and B. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, that was funny.
That was hilarious.
That's kind of like a breaking the fourth wall type thing.
As that guard was like, "Who are you?" And he's like, "Townsperson A and B." Like, that was great. It's very JRPG and the secret revelation stuff. Like, so when you and the princess like go off on their own, they like just met, right? But they're spilling their entire life story, like, oh, I'm so insecure, oh, blah blah blah. And I'm like, this wouldn't happen in real life, but it happens in JRPGs all the time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I put on one side of this whole universe thing, Haru gets his girl. On the other side, Yu gets his legs. So I just knew it was gonna happen here, you know?
Yeah. I put at this point, like, this is early in the movie. Right after, right when they meet, like, the king and stuff. And I put, this wizard dude is obviously the bad guy.
yeah. I have that too.
I call it, yeah.
Like, this is obviously the bad guy.
I knew the pink-haired dude was evil the whole time. That's what I put.
I was like, and spoiler alert, he turns out to be the bad guy. I was like, knew it.
Yeah.
As soon as I met him. Right.
He did a classic Scooby-Doo moment though when they caught him, like threw his thing off and like you caught me. Then his whole story, you know, it's like
I love it. Yeah, it's great.
Everyone's like gasp. But it's funny.
Go ahead.
Because when he was first introduced, I was like, there's something about him. It's sketchy. I can't pinpoint it, but as the movie progressed, I'm like, he's the bad guy. My wife is like, no, he's not. And now we're like pausing the movie and like arguing it, like, he's not the bad guy, Daiquann.
They just gave him evil eyes, anyways. Like his whole time, he's like,
yeah. Absolutely. The music, I put the music is the same from the game, so I really appreciated that.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, just nostalgia. And they did a wonderful job of like making me feel like I was in the games again. Like, you know, like how the characters interacted and how like just the world works. So
yeah,
I appreciated that.
Yeah.
My next note is Naruto run.
Yes. Yes. It's like a staple in all anime movies now.
Yeah, I seem to have caught it in every single animation we've watched. Anime.
Yeah.
It has to be an
Yeah.
I mean, I put Haru is such a douche.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
and then
appreciated it though.
No, I was like, quit being such a douche. You're like 14, dude. Like, you can get another girlfriend. The whole thing I kept thinking the whole time. I was like, dude, you're in high school. Calm down.
I have Haru doesn't make sense. He thinks saving Kotu is what gave Kotuna cancer, but saving Kotu is what made Kotuna okay after being stabbed. It's like you literally saw how it works, and you're still being stupid.
I know. I was like, come on, dude. But he did. It was kind of like sketchy, where it was like he only saw the end of it, and he saw her stabbed. So he's an idiot.
It's just like you see the knife come out of this one, and all of a sudden this one's not dead in the street anymore. Like you'd think, you know.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, they're connected.
No stab wounds, and he's like, it's a dream. I'm like, what?
and if you played the first game, you understand the interlink. So
it's funny. I kept being like, you have such a big imagination. It's like, dude, you know you were there. Stop it.
You were there. Yeah. I put Evermore. I knew this palace looked familiar.
Yeah.
So the city. Daiquann, if you've never played NiNoKuni 2, you create the kingdom of Evermore. That's like what you're doing. And you create the palace, and once you level up the palace, the final level looks a lot like the palace in this game. And so you're like...
In the movie?
In the movie, yeah. I was like, what?
It's funny because I was telling my wife, I was like, I feel like this movie is like the bridge to the games.
But
it's almost like NiNoKuni 3.
After.
Yeah.
This movie is set after, like, several hundred years, it seems like.
Oliver's got to be old then.
Yeah. I mean, he's a wizard.
Yeah.
He live forever.
What young wizard do you know, Corey?
You.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true.
I put that dog would have actually eaten them.
Oh yeah. I was like, come on, dude. Like,
they like get tackled. It's like, it's like whatever, you kid.
I'm like, you're like 5 years old, kid. Morn Star. I put that in exclamation points because it's just a homage. You know, it's part of the storyline. I was like, that's cool.
I said I love. Okay, go ahead.
Go. No, you go.
I was just saying I love the black and purple armor.
Yes. Even though it's obvious bad guy stuff.
Yeah. So good though.
Like if you walk into like a castle and there's purple like goo and stuff everywhere and it's kind of dark, you should automatically know. Bad guys place.
Yep.
Bad guys.
There was one cool part though, is when Haru first put on the armor. And he smacked the one soldier, and he spun.
Yeah, and he goes,
And he's like, "What's this power?" And he's like, "Oh, the suit just amplifies your power by like 10 times." And he's like, "Huh, okay."
I love how he just takes it in stride. He's like, "Oh yeah, that makes
sweet."
Sense. He keeps going.
I hate how whenever the bad guy starts controlling Haru and like makes his mask close and everything, and use like. Stop, you're being manipulated. It's like, he's not the one moving, it's the armor moving his body, obviously. Like, why are you trying to convince him not to move?
There's definitely some aspects to this movie where you're like, this movie is obviously designed in a way that a little kid can watch this.
Yeah.
You know?
There's some blood, though.
It's not designed... Yes, I did notice that. I was like, there's no blood. And then, like, she like, one of the soldiers stabs, like, the girl stabs the guy, and I was like, there's blood. Oh, okay. I put, of course it's a spider the guy turns into.
I know, this is not my final form.
I was like, God dang it, it would be a spider. I hate spiders. My last note is that, does you have gray hair or blue hair? Because it kept changing.
I think it's blue.
I think it's blackish blue. He looks kind of like Yuri from Tales of Vesperia. If you guys have ever played that.
Yeah. I was thinking about that too.
Yeah. And I put kind of a sad ending. That's what I...
It was... The ending was actually... It actually caught me by surprise. I don't know about you guys, but like, this movie, like, throughout it, like, the bad guy, like, seeing the bad guy, and then you're like, okay, obviously these two guys are gonna fight at the end. Like, it's obvious, right? The ending actually surprised me. What about you, Daiquann? Did you see the ending coming?
I saw the ending coming from a mile away. It was to the point I was actually even throwing jabs at it.
Maybe I'm...
Because I was even telling my wife, like, this is the final boss, and she just started laughing.
Like, did you see the ending in the sense of where, like, they're the same person? That's what I'm referring to.
No.
Parallel people.
Wait, what?
Did you not... Corey, did you not watch that movie?
You and Haru are the same person? Is that what you're saying?
Corey, did you not watch? Did you not finish?
They're not the same person, though.
Yes, they are. When they're going back and you lets go, and he's like, I gotta stay. Like Haru, like is like, where's you? And they're all like, who's you? And then he like has this overhead monologue, and he's like, oh, I understand. You're my parallel person from that world. That's why we became best friends. That's why we're so alike. That's why we fell for the same girl.
But the thing is, they don't even look alike. They're supposed to at least look
It
alike.
doesn't matter. I know, but that's what they're the same person. They're the parallel people. That was the whole point.
Okay, well, I obviously didn't see that coming.
But another thing that made me realize about that ending that made me think about, like, oh wow, I think like he was when they explained that when they went into danger is what made them switch worlds.
Mm-hmm.
So when you was younger and he was in that plane crash and he was in the human world, that was like, it makes sense because he was in danger, which caused him to come over into the human world.
Yeah.
I will say, though,
Perfect.
you staying, I kind of compared to when James Harden had to decide to leave the Thunder or not. It's like, do you get more money and start, or do you stay here on the bench and make less money? He gets his legs and he gets a girl if he stays. So
It was obvious to me. I'm like, as soon as he became like able to walk, I was like, in my head, I was like, if I was you, I would totally just stay in that world and walk forever.
what's funny is
Like,
one of my questions was going to be, why don't they have parallels in the other world? Why didn't we see them? It's because they are them.
Oh my gosh, Corey.
Okay, Lorena was in my room packing when I was watching the end of this movie, and so I probably like turned around and said something to her right when he was saying that.
Whatever, Corey. Whatever. Any final notes, Corey?
Nope. All we have left is our trivia. So you guys have some final thoughts on it?
I don't know. We could do our final overview after we do our trivia. I want to do the trivia.
Okay, I have two, so I'll go first.
Love it.
Okay, what was you looking at when the girl being followed called him? He was in bed looking at something, and he put it down when she called.
Was he looking? Oh, he was looking at the score sheet for the basketball game.
Oh,
Yes.
it was a class score sheet, wasn't it?
Huh?
Was it basketball? I was thinking it was like test
Yeah, it was
scores.
for the basketball game.
The
Okay.
score
He was keeping score for Haru.
Well, it was a
It
score
was-
sheet. Yes.
it was a score sheet.
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought it was the playbook.
I
No,
thought
it was the score sheet. The playbook is when they were leaving.
I
Yeah.
thought it was like test scores, but it makes more sense that it would be basketball.
No, it was
score sheet.
it showed it earlier. Like I guess during the game, like it like showed a quick glimpse of it before he like rolled down, and he was like, "You could have scored 7 more points."
Oh yeah. Okay. Now you ask.
Okay, now 1,000 cool points because I don't think either one of you will get this. You mentioned the bad guy, who I don't even remember his name, controlling Haru. What spell did he use to control Haru? Because that's a spell from the original game.
Uh,
I don't remember. Not gonna lie.
I
Rejuvenate.
don't remember.
Huh?
Rejuvenate.
No, it definitely was not rejuvenate.
No.
It was a spell called Puppet String, which is appropriate.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Anyway, I saw it and I paused it. I was like, I know this, and I looked it up. I was like, it's Puppet String.
All right. Okay. So, what numbers were on the baseball players' jerseys in the background when Haru was carrying the stabbed girl to the hospital? I didn't know her name at this time. I forgot it, so I wrote stabbed girl.
I have.
There were basketball players walking, or baseball players walking behind them.
Yeah, I remember seeing the baseball players.
I didn't catch numbers.
7 and 11.
18 and 5.
I was closer than Daiquann.
Yeah, that's true.
I didn't even know. I wasn't even paying attention to the numbers.
Yeah.
I do remember the walking
Yeah.
past.
It's like, so you know baseball player jersey numbers in the background, but you don't know that they're parallels to each other.
Yeah, I know, Corey. Come on, man. Corey's like, oh, this would be such a good question.
Yep.
He was like, wait, what just happened?
All right. So,
All right, Daiquann, did you enjoy this movie?
I did. I do have one question though.
Oh, hit us with this question.
What was the name of the armor?
Of Haru's armor?
Yes.
Oh, frig.
it starts with a B, right? No.
Ballistic armor.
It's like Bobolin or something.
Oh, I don't know. What is it?
I don't know. I was just asking because I'm
Just kidding. There was no name for it. Got you good.
He did say the name of the armor. I just can't remember it. I just want to see if you guys remember.
I'm gonna see if I was right. If it was a B.
Yeah.
Haru's
Look it up.
armor in NiNoKuni movie?
Let's see.
By the way, I've
Yes?
never ever heard of anyone saying, I could go for a sour orange right now.
I know, we both like sour oranges.
I didn't even know oranges are sour.
I know, I didn't even know that was a thing. Like, they're a little tarty a little bit, but I would never describe an orange as sour.
Isn't that just a lemon?
Basically, yeah.
Orange lemon?
I don't know.
It's the Black Banner armor.
There we go.
I knew it was a B.
Well, I mean, that's stupid.
Because from
Because
the
I could
Black
say-
Banner Army.
So Black Banner is the name of the organization. So he also had the Black Banner sword. You know.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, that's what it is.
All right.
That was
So
cool.
Daiquann, you like the movie? Would you recommend it? And anything that you thought was stupid from it?
Yes, I would recommend the movie, especially if you have children. It's a nice little movie to. No, actually, not with children. I'll say more of like older kids. I'll say about between like the ages of 10 and 12, because
Yeah.
there are certain scenes that I feel like that are questionable for children. But other than that, though, the one scene that I would say was stupid was when Haru got upset and he's just like shaking you in the wheelchair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
It's so dramatic.
like, why are you shaking a handicapped guy in a wheelchair? That's like so rude.
He's off limits. He's in a wheelchair. All right, Corey, would you recommend this movie? Did you like it? And what was something really stupid that you thought?
I did like it, and I think people could watch this movie without ever even touching the games if they wanted to. And something stupid was that they didn't look alike and they were parallels.
No. All right, I agree. I really enjoyed this movie, and I think people should watch it. It was very enjoyable. And you're right, Corey. You don't have to play the games to get it, but playing as someone who's played both the games and got the platinum trophies for both of them, I would highly recommend playing them as well, just because Studio Ghibli and Level 5 do an amazing job on all three of them. Something I thought was stupid was when Haru was like, "Oh, it's just a dream," and then he gets up there and starts dancing on the stripper pole. What are you doing?
Are we sure this was Studio Ghibli? Or Studio Ghibli? Whatever.
Definitely
Yeah.
was.
Mm-hmm.
It was?
It
Oh,
said it at the beginning.
sweet.
Yeah, it was like, and,
They didn't work on number 2, though. I know they died. It didn't do.
It was a like influence though,
Yeah.
heavily.
Yeah.
I'm very surprised, Corey, that we got through an entire review of this movie without either one of us mentioning this cute little pink fluff ball thing that followed.
That thing
him
was
around.
adorable.
Wasn't that I felt, and that's what made me realize at the end that was Oliver, because you know how Oliver worked with a lot of the monster summoning, and it basically stuck to him at the end of the movie.
It would have been better if that was Drippy talking to them. I would have loved that.
The complaint I have with this movie is that Drippy did not make an appearance.
Drippy
Like,
or what's the other one?
The Kingmaker.
Yeah.
Rick, what is his name? God, I can't remember. Oh, it's gonna come to me as soon as we.
Yeah, I know.
But he doesn't even have to be like a character in this movie. Really, it just have him walk in the background or something. You know.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that.
a little lantern on his nose.
I love it. He's iconic character.
I will say this though, my wife got more of the video game references in the movie than I did.
Oh yeah, because she's played it, right?
She's actually currently playing it.
You should definitely play them, Daiquann. They're good.
They're so good. They're so good. I can't even say one's better than the other necessarily because they're different.
They're different. They're better in different ways. They're both good in
Yeah.
different ways.
I completely agree. All right, well, guys, that kind of wraps up our episode this week. Don't forget to like, and comment.
No. You got to give the next Nerd Corner.
Oh, what am I doing? Hey, can I get a drum roll? Next Nerd Corner, we will be continuing Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
You
We'll
would.
be doing episodes 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So 11 through 15. I need Corey to finish this anime, so I'll probably just keep pushing it. So just let you know. We will be reviewing those episodes, so watch those so you'll be up to date. Don't forget to tune in.
Yeah.
Oh, shout out to the shirt.
Saddest episode of TV ever on his shirt.
Oh my gosh, it's so sad. So sad. We will also be discussing our game of the month for May 2020 next month. It is Gradius, an original Super Nintendo game that has been remastered on Nintendo game, whatever. And it's basically on every system out there on their digital library. It's on PlayStation, it's on Xbox, it's on the Switch, it's on the
Emulator.
Nintendo system. Yeah, you can emulate it. It's very cheap. It's an old school arcade. We'll get more into that next week, so be tuned for that. Special shout out to Daiquann. Thank you so much for joining us, man. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
And Daiquann, do you want to plug yourself one more time before we get off here?
Yeah.
So I am the PS Xbox Gamer on YouTube, and on PlayStation I am XX Born to Stalk You, XX with the letter U, not the word U.
And a 2, not 2.
And the 2, yeah.
Absolutely. Thanks again so much, Daiquann. It's always a pleasure, my man. We will catch you guys next week. Be looking out for our stuff. Check you later, guys. Bye.
Later.